What's up everyone, it is HPW Face here and I am back with another Diary of a Customs video. Now first off I want to say thank you guys so very much for all the support on the last and first entry in this series, the CM Punk video. You guys absolutely loved that video and I loved making it, and yeah, I'm just so thankful that you guys enjoyed it and that you guys dig the new series. So I'm taking a bit of a risk on this one because it's a lesser known wrestler. I've been wanting to make this custom for a while now. This guy is one of my favorite sort of lesser known, more underappreciated wrestlers out there in the world of wrestling today. He's an Australian wrestler who's in TMDK. His name is Robbie Eagles and I first saw him wrestle last year in Perth right before Elimination Chamber. This guy's awesome, man. He can go with some of the best of them. I mean, he's wrestled Will Ospreay, he's wrestled Claudio, he's wrestled all kinds of folks. But anyways, today we have a bit of a different one than the CM Punk one. There will be no hand painting in this one. Well, no hand painting of like logos or anything. Thank goodness. So, the way this one is going to go down is I've got a couple decals here from Curb Stomp City Custom Decals. Shout out to them. They make customizing awesome. Then I've got a custom head here from Headeration. Looks bloody mean. Looks a hell of a lot like Robbie Eagles. And I was concerned when I bought it that the headband was not going to be painted, but it is painted. So, but. And I've got a formula here that really works for just about any guy, but I'm going to be using it today for Robbie Eagles. Now you can see in that photo, he does wear shorts, but I couldn't find a good formula for that, and I don't really want to, so I'm just going to paint it on to the legs and just hope it goes well. But aside from that, let's stop wasting time and start making the custom.
So the first thing I'm doing here is covering up all the Curtis Axel logos that were originally under it. That's the formula I used for this, by the way. I used the Curtis Axel Elite and just swap some kick pads onto it. Also, excuse my voice, I'm sick right now, but I'm doing this for the love of the game. So yeah, just covering up things here with a black coat of paint. Very easy job. The black paint I used, the Citadel Air Paint, it's great for covering things up. This, however, the Vallejo Game Color Orange is not orange. I had such a hard time trying to get a right orange for this. It was like a salmon color to start out. So I mixed it up. I mixed some black in. That didn't really work. So I tried a little bit more black. Still didn't work. It started to look like a flesh tone. So I had to go back to my freaking primary school days and mix up red and yellow until I got the orange that I desired. And I thought, oh, this will be easy. I'll just mix red and yellow once and it'll be fine. No, it was a nightmare. It was so annoying trying to get the perfect orange for this custom. I had to mix so many different colors so many times. Not so many different colors, but I had to mix the three colors so many times and compare it to the decals and the photos that I was looking at. And I seemingly was never happy with it. But eventually, I got somewhere where I thought, you know what, screw it, this is passable. So from there, I began painting the orange on. Now, I know what you're thinking. The color scheme is a lot similar to that one adult website. I will not elaborate. That's not for me to discuss. Anyways, so he has like a split thing going on where half of his trunks are orange and half of them are black. So I went with that and then painted over the white parts of the kick pads. I'm very thankful that they that the kick pads had a white, like the part of it was white, and that the shape was already drawn out there as well. It made it real easy to paint over for me. Then from there was just bunch more coats of orange until I covered up everything and made sure, you know, there was no like black or skin tone or white in this case, or like the lines under it on the kick pads, you know. And then I realized I had to add the other leg bit for the black, the right leg. Sorry, my brain is farting right now. I realized that I'd forgotten to do the other side, is what I'm trying to say. So I did that, and then more and more and more and more coats of orange. Literally, that's just all I do for probably the next 45 seconds. So, I mean, if you want to skip ahead, feel free to. I don't blame you. See, I'll meet you guys at that part, eh? But if you're still here, then, I mean, why? But also, anyways, now it was time to cut out the decals. So if you stayed, you get a little extra. So yeah, cutting out the decals was fine. I sort of started out with like a rough version of it, and then later on when I actually put them on, that was when I went more precise. Thankfully, with Curb Stomp, whenever you buy decals from them, I'm pretty sure regardless of what you get multiple copies of it, which is great because it leaves room for mistakes and errors, which are very easy to make when you're doing something as precise as the decals with these figures. After all the gear was done, there was these random black lines that I didn't end up using. I don't know what they were for. Then it was the tattoos, and I'm pretty sure there was 1 or 2 missing. This might have been like, he might have made the decals a little bit earlier on when Robbie Eagles didn't have those tattoos. That's my assumption at least. But they were easy to cut out. They all look really cool. I dig I think it's like a Zelda piece, the one I'm cutting out right now. I really like that.
Decal time.
Anyways, now it's time to actually apply the decals, which is a very fun process, but it's very fiddly and quite easy to get wrong. I do enjoy it though because it's quite rewarding and it looks cool, and you can like see the actual figure coming together as it goes on. So what you have to do when you apply a decal, or at least what I do, is you get the piece of paper that the decal is on, you dip it in water for 15 seconds, pull it out, dry it with a paper towel, then apply a thing called micro set onto the area where you are applying the decal. And I think basically what micro set does is it's kind of in the name, it sets the, I'm not entirely sure, it must like have some adhesive properties that makes the decal able to apply. That's the best explanation I have of it. Then you brush a thing called micro sol over it, which basically I think gets rid of like air bubbles and smoothens out the decal, and then that's what like applies it and binds it with the plastic, I think. I'm not an expert on this, so I could be entirely wrong, and if I am, I apologize. So now you know the process of how you do it. It's really, like I said, it's quite fiddly and easy to get wrong, but it's great fun when you get it right. And there are a couple times where I had to, especially on this part of the arm that you're seeing right now, I had to like really finagle them to get them not on the joints. So this one right here, the like lucha mask thing, I think I cut it out too big, and there was like space where it almost touched the bicep joint of the figure and where it would have got cut off. So it was a bit of a task trying to figure out where to change those. Anyways, here I'm using a wet paper towel to try and get off some of the excess orange paint that ended up on the back of the figure, which was relatively easy to do. There is still a little bit on it as I'm looking at it right now. Anyways, now here you see I'm sealing it with Mod Podge, which is like a water-based sealer. That's literally what it says on the bottle. And I don't really know what it does. I just know it gives it a glossy finish. And I think the main purpose of using Mod Podge, or just a sealer in general, is to prevent chipping and to prevent the paint from coming off. I'm not sure if you're supposed to seal decals, but I tend to do that anyways. Yeah, you just saw that one completely came off of the knee pad, but thankfully it was one of the easier ones, so I just reapplied it and then sealed it again, and we were done with the figure.
And ladies and gentlemen, we have finished another custom here on the Diary of a Custom series. I love this. This is really freaking, it's kind of surreal. I was gonna say it's really freaking sick, but it's more surreal. A figure of a guy that I have seen in person and then on independent shows, like very small shows that I just wouldn't expect and have never seen a figure of before. It's kind of really cool and surreal to have a version of him in figure form. He's a wrestler I really dig. I think he's really talented and puts on great matches. And yeah, I think the custom turned out great. Didn't mention it at the start of the video, but this is a Heteration head scan. Heteration does some great work. If you need a custom head scan of a guy that doesn't already have a figure available, go to Heteration, man. Makes top-notch stuff. All of the decals are from Curb Stomp. I mentioned it earlier in the video, but the decals turned out great. I love how his tattoo decals look. I think they look the best out of anything he does. It's mostly down to the application of it, but look how well this chest decal turned out. Like, you can't even tell that wasn't already on the figure, you know? Even the ones on the arms, I think they look sick, but like I think they turned out great as well. Yeah, I'm just super stoked with how all of that stuff turned out. As well as the trunks, I love the Filipino and Australian flag on there. That is the Australian flag, by the way, for any of you morons who think that is New Zealand. I will have a strongly worded conversation with you about that if you get it wrong. And then, of course, the TMDK on the back. I did my best to line it up, but you can see right here, there's a little crook in it, and it's such a tiny detail, but ooh, is it gonna work me?
So one thing I didn't mention here is the fact that I now have an extra TMDK decal that I could easily use to make a Zack Sabre Jr. custom. So if you guys want to see that, let me know and I'll probably do it.
And there's the knee pads, and this bloody one came off. I had to use my second decal of this design on the knee pads. And then obviously you got the kick pads and the very bright, it looks very bright on this camera, the orange. But anyways, that is gonna do us for this episode of Diary of a Custom. Let me know what you guys thought. Do you know who Robbie Eagles is? Did you watch this video just to see how I made the custom? Let me know what you thought of it down in the comments below. But with that being said, I will see you guys whenever I see you.